All right, ready to roll?
Ready to rock and roll.
Let's roll. I feel like we blink and it's that time of year again. I have the Gina Spence team here in the building at Irie 98. I've got Dr. Gina Spence and I've got Mikey here. Mikey,
That's
what's
right.
up? Gina, what's up?
Morning.
We're good. Good to be back. Indeed,
Yeah.
Indeed.
Welcome back. What you got going on now?
Well, Mikey, you want to kick off?
Listen, we have our annual Christmas gift giving campaign kicked off. We are super excited because this time of the year is not joyful for everyone. Many persons are grieving all kinds of losses. That could be family members who are incarcerated, some family members who have now been displaced. They don't have anywhere to stay. Some people have lost their jobs in this season, disabilities, the list goes on. And so we think of grief in December specific to maybe if they've lost a loved one. But there are many people who are still here on this earth that are experiencing other types of losses. And so it is our joy to come in and bring hope and love to this season for those who are really, really in need. And this is where we distribute toys to children, healthy food hampers to families. We leave the turkey to the other charities.
Right.
And we make sure they got something to eat after Christmas.
Okay.
And then we take care of our seniors. We provide pharmaceutical gift cards to them so that they can afford the medicine. And so that's what we do every Christmas, our annual Christmas gift of giving. And that is the goal is to raise $75,000 to be able to reach those three demographics of persons who are in need. We're asking families to donate $25 per household. And we believe that with the generous community of Bermuda, we have already historically proven that we can't do it alone. And Bermuda shows up every time. And so we're back at it to say, come on, Bermuda. This is a well-oiled ship. We've been doing this for well over 13 years.
I was just about to ask you, how long have you been doing it?
Well, the organization has been over 35, but this specific event has been around for 13 years. And so we're a well-oiled ship. And all you have to do is call 296-0016 or visit our website, gspcharity.com, and make a donation. And we are just so thankful. We can't do it without our community.
Nice, nice. So what made you decide that these were the things that you were going to focus on versus the other things that some other charities are doing?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question because many times a lot of persons believe or it can be perceived that we're all doing the same thing. Like all the charities are giving out things. Well, yeah, we may all be giving out toys, but we have different demographics. And so our specific target audience is anyone experiencing a grief and a loss of any kind. And so our seniors are no longer working. Some of them have illnesses. Some of them are alone. And so we ensure our seniors that are grieving, their needs are met. There are families that I shared about as well that are experiencing unemployment and just so many other matters. There are persons who are going through divorce. Believe it or not, divorce is a form of loss. Your household is going from 2 incomes to 1. And that usually means that someone's got to find somewhere to stay.
Yeah,
right?
Especially in these times, right?
In these times. And so what's left behind are the children, are these families that are sometimes caring for nieces and nephews, not just their immediate kids. And so that's a form of loss, and that's why we assist families with food. And then children with the toys, there are many children who are grieving. We are the only ones in Bermuda that track, service, and clinically provide support to the children left behind due to gun and gang violence. There are over 110 children left behind, and those are our babies. And so when we say donate towards our $75,000 goal, those are the faces that we are always fighting for. Many times in the headline after the stories go down and all of us return to work, there are still 110 children that no longer just don't have a father, but some a mother. And so that is the work that we do. We're calling on Bermuda to assist us in that.
Yeah, it's a heavy job that you guys have taken on.
Yeah.
And I mean, you said 13 years in this program, 35 years with the actual Gina Spence program, which is incredible. We talk about it all the time. I remember the first podcast that we did where you kind of gave me the whole origin story, and it was so inspiring, you know what I mean? And it just warms my heart to see that you're still at it, you're still pushing. And tell me a little bit about the progress that you made so far.
Sure. So for me, I just retired finished working at the Willowbank Resort. I've been there for 7 years. And I am now working full-time for the charity, which is an amazing
Congratulations.
goal. It just overwhelms me because I've always worked 2 jobs. I've always had a full-time job and done charity work. And so I'm excited about that. The need is great, as Mikey mentioned. We've had to increase our clinicians and our staff members because of the numbers of children left behind from gun violence. And we're now servicing the entire family, not just the child. And so we have evolved. There are many people who still remember the road show with Bootsy and Suzette Harvey and Patricia Pogson and so many others. A lot of people were actually cast members, and they're like your age now. And they will come up to me and say, Miss Spence, I was in your road show. I was a part of the Gina Spence Productions. And they're still supporting. They come and volunteer. They give, So I'm very blessed to still be able to do this work. I'm extremely excited the fact that my daughter has taken on the leadership as executive director.
I just want to pause you for a second. She hasn't just taken it on. She's doing it.
Right.
Yes. Do you hear how she speaks and how she talks about what you guys do?
And it's, it's amazing because as you get older and I've been doing this for 3 decades. It's like, okay, Lord, as I get older, like if something happens or if I, move, like who is going to carry my life's work forward? I think
you're in good hands right now. I can tell you that.
Thank the Lord. That question. And it's interesting because Mikey went away to college. She came back and she volunteered for a little bit. Then she joined the committee and then she joined our board of directors. And one night she just came to me after one of the meetings and she was like, Mama, this can never die. Like all these years you've put in the game, all these years you sacrificed. And now remember, this is my daughter. This isn't somebody who hadn't seen me go through. My cat's seen me at my worst.
Right.
She's seen me struggle. She knows my life story. And so for your child to come to you and say, Mommy, I want to carry your legacy forward, I couldn't ask her for anything greater than that. And it is amazing to see how she's a taskmaster. I can tell you that much.
Like I said, from the few conversations that we have, I could tell. Absolutely. I can absolutely tell.
Yeah. So I'm proud. I'm very thankful, that I have all of my children support me 100%. My husband supports me. The community supports us. And it's important because we cannot do it alone. And these campaigns take a lot of energy. We're up 6 in the morning. We don't go to sleep till after 9, 10 at night. You're talking about over 400 people who have registered.
Yeah.
400 people.
Got you.
In one room, coming to get food, to get seniors cards for medicine as well as toys for children. We're thankful, because
that's significant.
It's very important. And Mikey just gave you some of the reasons why people are asking for the help. It's not just a situation where, she's a single parent or he's not working. No. These people are working hard. You understand? But what they make is not necessarily enough to survive. And so one of the pieces of data that I like to put out there, especially when we're talking about families and struggling, is simply this. There are over 500 residents in this country who are either underinsured, which means they work, but their insurance doesn't cover major or a lot of things, or uninsured. And they're uninsured for many reasons, right?
35%.
35%.
35% of the population.
Of the population,
yes.
Which is about
35%.
21,000 people.
Okay.
And you do the math, right?
Yeah.
21,000 people uninsured or underinsured is a lot of people.
It is.
So that stress could you imagine waking up with no insurance?
Yeah.
Or knowing that your grandmother, she's retired now, she's getting her pension, but her pension doesn't cover her medicine.
Yeah.
Because Mikey gives this story about how I think the lady's
she takes home $387 per month from her pension check for her medication. Copay is $475 every month.
Wow.
So she's never able to even reach.
Right.
That's just the medication.
Right.
That's not the food. Her rent. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
And we're talking about people, and I take this very deeply, because these are the people who made our jobs easier, who worked hard and made the sacrifices so we can have insurance and have days off and all those things that we benefit from. There's no way in the world, Rusty, that I could sit here and have a conscious mind knowing that seniors are not able to get medicine after all they have done for us, the sacrifices that they've made. So it is absolutely important to me that we find the way. Bermuda is still the third wealthiest country in the world. You're not judged by your wealth. You're not judged by your popularity. You're judged by how you take care of the least of them. That's how you're judged, right? And so Bermuda, we ask you if you can as a household to give $25. If you're able to give more, then thank you. If there's international businesses listening right now, you have your committees looking to help and support, causes. We have seniors, children, and families right in front of us who are in great need. So if you want to support a charity that's doing the work, that is us. We are data driven. We can tell you every child, every adult, how many cards we give for medicine, because it's important when you give to organizations that they have information. You know, if you give me money, you want to know, well, what did you do? How did you spend it?
Absolutely,
you benefited. We have that information. We have a very strong oiled machine because we believe in data. Data also helps us to plan properly. It helps us to target the needs, because when you go on our website, we do ask, have you had, in the last 90 days, have you had any losses? And people are telling us, yes, you know, my father was diagnosed with cancer, and then, you know, my mom got sick, or my brother had a road accident. He didn't die, but he's now, you know, unable to walk. So we got to put ramps in the house. We got to change the way the whole infrastructure of the house. Like, these are real stories of people in this country that we often don't think about. Right? And so then we talk about helping those who have gone through losses. Losses look different for a lot of different people, but anyone that's been through any type of loss can tell you it's not an easy journey. And many times it's played down. You know, she lost her child, you know, in childbirth. She'll have another child. Are you serious? Do you know what that feels like, to take a person through 9 months of labor and the child be stillborn? Do you know what that loss looks like? Do you understand what some of these families grapple with? Do you know what that does to a relationship or a marriage? You understand? So when we talk about who we're helping and the information that we're getting back to some of our recipients, these are the stories. These are the types of losses that are being played out in this country every day. And we know that they're real, because everybody can think of one person who's lost a job, who's staying with the nana or the papa right now, because they can't afford. It's not that they're not working. They can't afford the houses that are available.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so then when we talk about how this is where our focus is, and we're very specific and very focused. But we've got good news, Rusty G. Like I said, every year,
talk to me. Give me some good news.
Every year, Bermuda comes forward. You know, we surpass $75,000 because people give, and they give genuinely. And so the good news is that we're helping. We're meeting the needs of the seniors. These children have at least one present under the tree. You know, people have food after Christmas. You know, there's an abundance of Christmas hampers, but after December, what happens?
Right.
So we make sure they got cereal and milk and bread, you know, things that may not necessarily come in a Christmas hamper. And we recognize that, because I was a single parent. I raised my 3 daughters. It was a struggle. You know, there were times when it was just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you know, or I was able to cook some cream of wheat or something like that. So I know that feeling. And I'm sure many of your listeners can relate. You know, I'm better now, but hey, there's very few people that can say they have not been through the struggle, or they don't know someone that is going through it. And that's our focus. That's our goal, to ensure that our families and our children and our seniors are being seen. You know, because a lot of times we don't see them. We may know, but we're not saying, hey, man, I know you just went through a divorce, man. How you making out? You know, your children, like, you know, like how you guys managing? Like, you know, it's hard when it could be a breakup. It ain't even got to be a divorce. Somebody's been in a relationship for 20 years and then they go their separate ways. What does that look like Christmas time for those children and those people? It is very difficult. So people are asking for the help. They're giving us the reasons why. We can certainly see, based on the data, how insurance is affecting our population. And we need, as a community, to make sure that people feel seen. We're really good, Rusty, at helping other people. Something happens in other countries, Bermuda, we're there, you know, front page, which is wonderful.
Agreed, yeah.
But what about us? What about our people, our children, our seniors? We know that charity begins at home. And so the GSP program is here to support those needs. We love our people. You know, it takes a lot to say, I need help. It takes a lot to say, I'm working, but I'm still not making it.
It's one of the hardest things for anybody to actually admit and say.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think it's also important that people understand that out of that place of humility that people are asking for assistance could be the same space of humility that they give. Because so many times we're not really putting the true stories to the ask. I had one call, I want to say This was before the campaign started. A lady called, would say it was like Monday, to register her mom, who was a senior. She called back the next day to say, I'm so embarrassed to ask for the link for myself. But I work 3 jobs. I have my own apartment. I've got 3 kids. But my boss is closing on the business. He's a small business owner and he can't afford to employ me. I told my landlord, and my landlord told me, well, she needs to pay her mortgage. So in 1 month, I lost my job, and now I need somewhere to stay in January. I need to register for me and my kids.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so in 2 days, this woman called one day, and she's got a decent job with a beautiful local company that now has to close their doors. And so these are the types of stories. We want to break the stereotype of it's people abusing the system. That's not everyone out there that needs assistance. There are hardworking families that are getting up, loving on the children, putting all the Vaseline on their face in the morning and sending them to school with the best that they can. But things happen. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't really give to a cause that we can't connect to. And so we feel that by telling the story of those that they do not know, it would help them find a connection to those things,
Absolutely. Because that story is one of so many.
Yeah.
And life can literally change just like that. You know what I mean? And then what? Where are you? Who do you go to? Who do you call?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why you guys are here doing what you're doing.
And so when you asked earlier about, what makes us choose these items to give out and what makes us different is our group of beneficiaries. Mm-hmm. And so during our application, you cannot complete it without consenting to give your information so that we can use our data to assist with the campaign.
Right.
But also you have to share your form of loss. And so we're able to pull from that data and determine, okay, you know what? Toys are needed, but this year there are a lot more food hampers needed than toys, or vice versa. And sometimes the age group, there are more persons that need toys for boys between the age of 5 and 8 versus toddlers 3 and under.
Got
and
you.
so we're very informed in the decisions that we make. We cannot do it alone. We're so thankful to Heritage Worship Center with Bishop Lamb and his entire church and ministry. They've opened up their doors to allow us to come and distribute the items to the community. And then we have Phoenix, who's come on board to assist with the pharmaceutical gift cards for the seniors. BGA, who's come on to help with the food hampers. We also have Lindos, who have come on to support us, Lindos and their partner with the loaves of bread this year, which we're super excited about. We have Melvin at Mediaville. Melvin, I love you. Where are you? I invite you, Melvin.
I'm Bermuda Pest Control.
Bermuda Pest Control. Yeah, Melvin. Yeah. He's been with us. People just see your website, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Or they hear us asking and thinking these other donors, but Melvin at Mediaville gets all the points every year because 2:00 in the morning, him and his beautiful wife and his beautiful baby, I'm like, Melvin, the website, Melvin, this, that, Melvin. It's like, Adrian's like, you're emailing Melvin? I'm like, yes. My husband. So honestly, that is our village. And so people hear us asking for that $75,000. Well, the website's got to be accessible. And if people don't know, there's an annual cost for the website.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like we need a platform in order to give. Like in order to give, we have to have an application to Butterfield Bank in order to receive the money. Like there are all these other nuances behind that ask. So when we ask you to give.
Can we talk a little bit about, that behind the scenes process of how you guys manage all of this? So, I mean, I know that you had your toy drive going on. And so that closed last week.
Yeah.
So talk to me and run me through somebody who doesn't know, right?
What it looks like.
How do you go from people who've dropped off all this stuff to you and now you have to sort it, figure out what makes sense to go to which family and to which child and to, which person. How many people do you have managing that? How long does it take? Like, can you talk me through that?
Yes, I can. Thank you for saying that because many people don't know. All right, so here we go. Starts with Melvin. Love you, Melvin. The website, right? The way in which he set up our website is that we have these specific questions that ask the age, the gender, and the things of that nature. It also has security measures to ensure that there's no duplication. So you cannot cheat our system, people. We know who you are, what your need is, right?
Got you.
And so the website captures the need. We then take that and with our administrative team that consists of about, I would say 2 volunteers. They're like Excel spreadsheet gurus. They go and they sort and they let us know, okay, you have this amount of children that is male or female that are in this age bracket that need this amount of toys. And the same for the hampers, the same for the pharmaceutical cards for the seniors. So we're able to break all that data. And then what happens is the post office locations that collected the toys, we bring them to our sorting warehouse this week, starting tomorrow. And with about 20 volunteers, we break them out in the orders according to the data. And so we're then able to say, okay, this bag or this area is just for boys age 10 to 12, and girl and vice versa. And so we spend one night just sorting the toys. And then the next night, we spend that night just sorting and bagging the gift bags that go out to our seniors. Our seniors actually receive it in the mail. It's a hand delivery by a local postman and postwomen.
Okay.
So it's a personalized experience.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're really grateful for the Burrito Post Office, because people think that we're just giving out gift cards or they're collecting them. No, some of these seniors can't even move or leave their home. They don't have transportation. And so they are seen. When we say seen, the postman or women knock on the door and say, hi, Mrs. Thomas, here's your gift from the Gina Spence program. And they're all excited. We got pictures. And so there's a team that's dedicated.
I love that.
Yeah, and there's a team that's dedicated to doing that. And then with the food hampers, each year it does look different. Annually, we've had the Harbor Light men that are there making a change of life. My background is addictions counseling. And so anyone in that field who's in that area who's wanting to change their life, I always try to find a way to connect them to what I'm doing today. And so typically they come and they help us with the food hampers. But this year we have a partner, Carrie Olson, who will be coming, and their team will be having a volunteer day. It's about 15 staff members who will be coming and literally breaking open the boxes from BGA, lifting them and packing the healthy food hampers. And that's 200 healthy food hampers. And that's a separate day. And so each day is allocated to one thing that we're going to distribute with a team of at least 15 people, 15 to 25. And then Saturday is our big distribution day. And so from there, we have about 35 volunteers. You come, you check in, you got your free hot chocolate, your free soup, your photo with Santa. We got instant printouts. And then this year, we're opening back up the entertainment part. So we're going to have some live entertainment to entertain the families while they wait in line. The lines typically wrap around whatever building we're in. Yep. And so this year is a wraparound, you know, but that really speaks to the need, but it also speaks to the safe space that we're providing where there's no shame. It's joyful to come and get your items from the Gina Spence program, because that's who we are and that's what we do. And so that is just a small overview of what that looks like. And then we have to break down and clean up. And Hustle Truck, believe it or not, is one of our partners, our annual partners that ensure that we have enough man muscle and strength to lift up whatever bins and boxes that are needed and take it back to our storage. And so that's just a little bit of the operations.
I'm tired behind just thinking about what you guys got to get.
And also the gift cards that we get from the Phoenix Pharmacy, the gift cards are specially designed for our seniors, and they're earmarked for medication only.
Nice.
So they you know, the team, Deanne and her team, they like I said, it's not like a piece of paper or a voucher or something. It is a gift card, like a credit card. You understand? And when I say we take care and patience to make sure that when we're serving people, which is what we're doing, they feel valued, they feel seen, you know, and we watch the children's faces, like they get their gifts and they're like, this is for me, mommy, like, because you're talking to people who, you know, are already struggling, you know, there are very limited resources in the household. And so we get to see, you know, these children's faces light up. Many of the parents, we've had parents who have come with us for the last few years, and then they're like, Miss Spence, this year we're good. We want to come and volunteer. Now,
those are the stories that
those are the stories that really say, you know, because we're only doing this because there's definitely a need, but at the same time, you want to empower people. You know, you want people to get to a point where they can come back and not necessarily need, but give. And we've seen that as well. We've seen like some of the CEOs of companies and some of the management team like be exposed to the reality of Bermuda, because a lot of times we say there are two Bermudas. Well, there really are. And sometimes when they come into our space and they see, you know, these individuals and get to meet them and to, you know, hug on them and love on them, they're like, man, we just didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know, because we live in a type of Bermuda where we've got access to everything. The resources are always there, you know, but that is not true for everyone. And it is our job, you know, Rossi, to truly bring the two Bermudas together, you know. And like I was telling Sakela outside, I was saying there are very few people who live in this country who do not know someone who is struggling, or they themselves have been through a period of struggle, right? Through grief and loss. We talk about the road fatalities, right? But there are a lot of people who survive accidents, but their life changes greatly.
Forever, yeah. They're never the same
they're
after.
never the same, either psychologically or physically. And there are hundreds of families who have had to change the whole dynamic of their household, from taps to ramps to having a wheelchair and a walker, and these are not just old people's experiences. Some of these young people have just started their lives, but because of the accident, they've been rendered to a different type of life. And so when we say this, you got Alzheimer's, you got dementia, these are losses. The mom that once knew you don't even know who you are anymore. That's a great loss to a family. So how do you manage that? How do you maneuver through that? What do you do with it? That's what we do. You can come into our space and you can have a moment to breathe. You can have a moment to say how hard it is. And then we can start to give you tools, as an individual. And how do I deal with this new dynamic?
And it's help from professionals. I want to really put that out there, is that, you guys and what you've built.
Oh, yeah.
Is a team of professionals that study this, that understand this, that know this, that have case studies that you can use to say, okay, this is what happened in this scenario. So, we have examples of how we can help certain people in specific situations in this scenario as an example, right?
And it starts with trust. Any counselor will tell you the relationship starts with that person coming in and feeling like you got them. It may take a little while to warm up, but like we deal with the children and the adults. And what makes that such a great dynamic is that sometimes only the child is getting service, but the parent isn't. Or only the parent is getting service and the child isn't. But when they're both getting the help, support, and tools, and they come together, it's a powerful thing, because the mom and child now have new tools. So when daddy's birth, this may be the first Christmas that many families are going to have a loved one missing from the table, rather it be through a death, road fatality, a terminal illness, or a divorce. How do you manage that? How do you talk to children to prepare them? Because they're really, their loss is the family that they had last year. Their loss is, daddy waking up, coming out cooking breakfast. That's a loss. So people need help and support with this, and we cannot ignore it, because I can tell you one sure thing about not getting help and support for grief. It will show up. It'll show up in your life. It'll show up in your relationships, and if it's unaddressed, like any other dilemma, So, so the good news is that we're here. We have the professional care. We have the tangible care, because it's one thing for somebody to tell you they're hungry. No, we have food for you. It's one thing for somebody to say, listen, it's no toys. Like Miss Vance, I would love to, but I got to pay my Latchlight bill. Well, there will definitely be a toy under your tree this year.
I love it. I love it. So just to recap, we've got the gspcharity.com website.
That's right.
gspcharity.com. That's where you want to go to be able to see everything that you guys are doing, all the key dates. If you want to donate, what you're asking for is just $25. If you can do more, absolutely, very much appreciated.
Yeah.
But $25 per person.
Per household.
Per household.
Yeah. So
per household.
5 people in the house.
Which is a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got your kids together. Mom and daddy give 5. The 3 children teach your children how to give.
Yeah. Yep. So $25 per household, and $75,000 is the goal that you have currently to get to before December 13th.
Before the end of the month.
Year.
Before the end of the month. Cool.
And we want to thank those persons who have given. I mean, I left the office just now, and someone called and said, Ms. Spence, I want to give $1,000. Like right now. He said,
That's amazing.
Me and my family are good. He says, I remember though, when my mom struggled, and it's like, I just want to give you guys $1,000 toward the whole campaign. So we are receiving the help. We are receiving, but again, we have a targeted amount. So we're halfway there, Bermuda, and you've never let us down thus far. So your $25 or more will help us to hit that mark and go beyond.
Love that. Well, I appreciate you stopping by and sharing, all the good news about tough conversations, because there are good things to look for even in, bad
Difficult
times and
times,
difficult
yes.
times. And you guys have been a shining light and an example in that for years and continue to be so. So I just want to say, as I do every time you stop by, thank you for what you do for Bermudians and what you do for the people here. I genuinely appreciate the work that you put in, the sacrifices that you make for the people, because nobody's asking you to do this. This is literally, just your calling and your passion that is driving you to help others, and it's commendable and it's inspiring. So I want to make sure that, you both know that, and everybody on your team knows that. You know what I mean? And we're always going to be here to help support and help get the word out and help do what we can to make sure that what you're looking to do is successful.
Absolutely. Thank you. But guess what? We can't do it without you either.
Exactly.
So thank you for being a part of the village.
Yes.
Indeed,
absolutely.
indeed. And prayer. We believe that, there's a tangible way to show your love to people. Yes, you can pray for someone, but pray and feed them. Pray and love on them. Pray and let them know that it's going to be okay. And some people they don't have any money to give, but they give their time. They may not have the time, but they do show the love. And when people walk into any of our campaigns, you come around to Heritage Russia Center on the 13th of December, you're going to get so much love. So much love.
That's what's up. So I just want to make sure we've covered all the bases. All the info is out there once again, one last time, gspcharity.com. Don't diss Melvin. Melvin's put in all this work. You know what I mean? Like the website is tight, so go and check it out for everything that you need to know about what is going on with the GSP charity. All right?
Or call.
296-0016. If you ain't got the time to go on the internet and you don't like the internet, call. We still take calls.
There you go. Once again, thank you for stopping by. And I believe that this is a wrap. So this has been the Ira 98 podcast. Please subscribe to the channel and check out more episodes like this, conversations with great people in Bermuda and around the world. And if you wanted to learn more about the GSP charity, we've got previous episodes that we've done. They've stopped by a few times, so you can go check those out as well. If you would like to get Dr. Gina Spence's backstory, her history, all of that stuff, it's all there on the Ira 98 YouTube channel. All right, that's Rusty G signing out. Peace. Have a great holiday, Christmas season, all that good stuff.